It's kind of strange when you really think about it.
What is?
Well, how we treat modern AI. We have this incredible world-changing technology, but we treat it like an expensive autocomplete.
Right. Yeah, we really do.
You sit down at your desk, you open a totally blank tab, you type out the exact same background context you typed yesterday.
Just hoping to coax out a decent answer this time.
Exactly. You do all this manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
It feels completely backward.
Oh, it really is backward. I mean, it's basically Groundhog Day for knowledge workers.
Mm-hmm.
You end up spending vastly more time prepping the tool than actually doing the work.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are moving far away from that kind of stateless chatting.
Finally.
We're exploring a definitive March 2026 framework. And the mission here is very clear. We're going to build a self-correcting AI business OS.
Yeah, we're moving past the basic chat box. The top 1% of power users have already made this shift. It fundamentally changes how you interact with information.
And, well, I have to admit something right up front here.
Yeah.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself.
Oh, sure. Everyone does.
Starting from scratch every single time is exhausting. It takes a real cognitive toll on you.
It really drains your energy. And, there's an actual industry term for that exact feeling. It's called context decay.
Context decay. Let's unpack that a bit.
Right. So it's that manual, repetitive effort. You constantly have to re-explain your business, your tone, or your goals in every new tab.
Yeah.
Most people use AI completely wrong right now. They treat it as a stateless, high-end search engine.
Stateless, meaning it holds absolutely no permanent memory from yesterday.
Exactly. Every single session starts totally blank.
Right.
So the quality of your output relies entirely on your mood. It literally depends on how well you happen to explain things that specific morning.
That makes total sense. It's kind of like hiring a brilliant world-class intern.
Yeah.
But this intern has zero short-term memory. You have to completely re-onboard them every single morning.
Every single day.
You have to explain what the company actually does every single time they sit down.
That's the perfect way to look at it. I mean, it's an administrative nightmare, but there is a free Google ecosystem solution available now.
Right.
It uses Gemini, GEMS, and NotebookLM working seamlessly together. Millions of people use these tools individually, but almost nobody uses them together correctly.
So why is stateless the default for these massive AI models?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's so painful for the user, why build it that way?
Well, because giving millions of users permanent, always active memory is incredibly expensive.
Sure.
Wiping the slate clean after every chat saves massive server costs. It's a hardware limitation, really.
So standard chats prioritize speed and scale over long-term user memory.
Precisely. But with this new framework, we can finally bypass that limitation.
Okay. So we understand the amnesia problem. How do we actually build a permanent brain for the AI?
You have to build it using 3 distinct layers. Each tool plays a very specific, non-overlapping role here.
Okay, what's the first one?
The first is the execution layer. That's Gemini.
The main processing engine, the CPU, essentially.
Right. It handles the fast, real-time reasoning. It generates the text. It synthesizes the ideas. But it has no permanent hard drive.
Right.
So the second piece is the consistency layer. That is where GEMs come into play.
Those are the custom assistants you can build.
Yes. But think of them as strict behavioral rules. You configure your rules exactly once.
Mm-hmm.
You set the specific rule, you set the exact formatting, and most importantly, you set the strict anti-hallucination rules.
Which is critical.
Okay.
Because hallucination is when AI confidently invents false information that sounds real.
Spot on. You explicitly tell the gem never to do that. It acts as a behavioral guardrail.
Got it.
Then the third layer is the knowledge layer. That's NotebookLM. It acts as a vector database.
Which is a storage system organizing information by its underlying meaning.
Exactly. It holds your source-controlled, immutable facts. It's your permanent hard drive.
Beat. This is where the big 2026 update really matters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Gemini 3.1 Pro now allows direct notebook embedding.
Right. And that completely changes the game. Custom gems now live natively inside your proprietary knowledge base.
Wow.
You don't have to constantly reattach 20 different PDF files every single morning. The rules and the facts are fused together permanently.
It feels a lot like running a high-end restaurant.
Oh, how so?
Well, NotebookLM is your locked pantry. It holds all the raw ingredients and the undisputed facts.
Okay, yeah.
The gems are your strict recipes. They are the unbending rules for how a dish must be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And Gemini is just the line chef. It does the real-time execution based on the recipe and the ingredients it's given.
I really love that analogy. A chef needs both the strict recipe and the right ingredients to cook a consistent meal.
Right.
One tool alone simply cannot create consistency, long-term memory, and factual accuracy all at once. You need all three layers working in harmony.
What happens if someone tries to skip the consistency layer? Say they just plug the notebook directly into a standard Gemini chat.
The AI just improvises the tone and the structure entirely. It'll find the right facts, but it ignores your professional standards completely.
Without rules, you just get confident, well-formatted, but totally unpredictable guesses.
Exactly. You end up with a structural mess that you have to rewrite anyway.
Okay, but just having the tools clearly isn't enough. I imagine putting the wrong documents in the wrong places completely collapses the whole
It
system.
really does. It's a garbage in, garbage out situation.
Oh.
There are two major design decisions you have to make here.
What's the first one?
Decision number one is strictly separating your stable knowledge from your dynamic knowledge.
Wait, keeping stable and dynamic knowledge totally separated sounds great in theory.
Yeah.
But in practice, isn't managing two separate locations just recreating the exact administrative headache we're trying to automate away? Why not just dump everything into one giant notebook and let the AI sort it out?
Because the AI's retrieval mechanism doesn't work like human intuition. Stable knowledge is permanent. It rarely ever changes.
Like what?
We're talking about core brand guidelines, master product briefs, foundational audience research. Those live permanently in the Master Truth Notebook.
And dynamic knowledge, what does that look like?
That's your weekly performance reports. Or, the shifting data for specific short-term campaigns.
Okay.
They absolutely must stay out of the master notebook. You only attach them at the session level when needed for a specific task.
So if I dump a weekly report into the permanent notebook, what actually happens mechanically?
You create massive data pollution. If you have 50 weekly reports and one master brand guideline in the same database,
Yeah.
the sheer volume of the weekly reports mathematically drowns out the core guidelines in the vector space. The AI gets confused about what is actually important.
Mixing them really is data pollution. It's basically like printing yesterday's weather report in a permanent history textbook. Beat. It just deeply confuses the system's sense of priority.
That's exactly what happens under the hood. The system starts quoting last week's failed ad spend as a permanent company mandate. Then you end up manually fact-checking every single paragraph it writes. It defeats the entire purpose of automating the work in the first place.
So stable stays in the notebook, dynamic stays out and gets attached on the fly. What is the second major design decision?
Decision two is locking the functional rules entirely inside the gem. You don't ever put your system roles in the daily prompt.
So the gem defines exactly how the system works.
Right. The gem dictates the formatting, the tone, and the constraints. And the daily prompt simply defines what you want done today.
I see.
The prompt handles the specific immediate goal or the target audience. This strict separation makes the entire system endlessly reusable.
Is there a foolproof way to identify if a document is stable or dynamic before I upload it?
Ask yourself one simple question. Will the information inside this document still be completely accurate and relevant next quarter?
If it changes every quarter, keep it out of the main notebook entirely.
Precisely. Keep the foundation relentlessly clean.
Theory is great, but let's see this machine actually run in the wild. Let's look at the Anything LLM case study from the sources.
Yes. Anything LLM is a private, local desktop AI application. Their internal team has very heavy recurring tasks.
Like what kind of tasks?
Launch messaging, technical webinars, sales enablement materials.
And without a layered system, they're basically starting from zero every single time they need to write an email.
Exactly. But by using this three-layer system, they built a permanent truth notebook. It holds their core internal product brief and their master audience analysis.
That's the stable foundation we just talked about.
Right. Then they built a product messaging engine gem. And inside that gem, they used a very strict surface before generate rule.
Let's explain that mechanically. How does surface before generate actually work under the hood?
The gem basically acts like a bouncer at a club.
Okay.
Before Gemini is even allowed to start predicting the next word of your blog post, the gem physically forces it to run a mandatory search query against your NotebookLM database.
So it has to physically find the verified facts first. It must surface product truths before the system is allowed to write a single generated word.
Exactly. It's an agentic loop. Step 1, query the database. Step 2, read the retrieved facts. Step 3, generate the text.
And if it doesn't find anything?
If step 1 fails to find anything, the system halts. Let's look at 3 real-world scenarios from their team. Scenario 1 is a simple daily task, generating launch angles for early adopters.
That sounds pretty clean and fast.
Incredibly fast. You use the stable master notebook and the locked messaging gem. Your daily prompt just contains the specific task. Write 3 launch angles.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rules and facts are already loaded, the output is instantly consistent and completely reliable.
Scenario 2 requires much deeper evidence. Say you want to target enterprise IT directors. Those are incredibly skeptical, compliance-focused professionals. A generic marketing pitch will instantly turn them off.
Right. So this is where you bring in those session-level dynamic docs.
Things like specific IT use cases or recent security pain point sheets. You drag and drop them into the chat just for this one specific prompt.
Yes. These temporary docs tell the gem exactly what this specific audience cares about today. The system instantly connects your permanent product features from the notebook to the specific outcomes in the dynamic doc.
That's powerful.
The output gets highly detailed. It automatically includes narrative pillars and specific proof sections.
Because the gem was explicitly told to surface hard truths, not just generate marketing fluff.
Exactly. Now, scenario 3 is where it gets really advanced. It's about cross-referencing. You actually use 2 completely separate notebooks at the same time.
Oh, wow.
One is your core project knowledge. The other is your performance intelligence.
So comparing permanent expectations against shifting reality.
Right. You attach both notebooks to the same Gemini session. The first notebook provides the original marketing claims you made. The second notebook provides the actual Q1 revenue and engagement data.
So it's actively comparing the original claims against the hard reality. Then it's proposing updates to the truth notebook based on what actually worked. 2-sec silence. Whoa! Imagine a self-auditing loop where the AI actually has to prove its claims using your exact documents before speaking. That changes everything.
It really is a massive paradigm shift. It creates actual verifiable reliability. You can ask Gemini how each specific document contributed to its final answer.
Yeah.
It actively shows its exact work. It gives you footnotes.
But looking closely at the sources, those citations usually point to the notebook overview. They don't always point to the specific lines within the massive documents. Can we really trust it blindly yet?
Absolutely not blindly. It reliably points you to the right source document, which saves you hours of searching. But you still must verify the exact numbers or specific quotes manually.
So it builds immense trust, but you still need manual checks for critical claims.
You always need a human in the loop for the final, ultimate sign-off. It's an assistant, not an autonomous CEO sponsor. This deep dive is brought to you by our partners. When you are building systems that scale, you need infrastructure you can trust. Check out our sponsors link in the description. Now let's get back to the deep dive.
Okay, so this structural architecture is incredible for corporate teams, but it's not just for software product managers, right? How does the everyday listener, someone who is just trying to learn faster and manage their own life, use this OS today?
It applies beautifully to absolutely any knowledge-heavy workflow in your personal life. Let's take a personal job search system as an example.
Okay, how does that practically look when you're setting it up?
Well, your master notebook is your permanent career vault. It holds your master CV, your personal career narrative, and your target industry research. That is your stable foundation.
And the gem. What are the rules for a job search?
The gem becomes your application engine. You program it to adapt your tone for cover letters. You strictly instruct it to never, ever invent credentials.
Right, obvious.
And you tell it to aggressively flag any mismatches between your resume and the job requirements.
And the dynamic session docs.
Those are the specific job descriptions you're applying for that day. Or, a target company's recent annual report. You bring them in just for that one specific application session so they don't pollute your master career notebook.
That makes perfect sense. It saves you from rewriting your history every time you apply somewhere new. What about something more personal, like a health and household system?
This is incredibly useful. The master notebook holds your stable family health history, routine GP letters, permanent dietary restrictions.
All the unchangeable medical facts.
Right. The gem is configured as a health decision engine. It structures advice clearly. It explicitly flags potential medical contradictions.
It's super important.
Most importantly, it's restricted to stay within your uploaded documents only. No searching the wild web for random medical advice.
And then you just add your new temporary blood test results as dynamic session-level docs.
Exactly. Or maybe a highly specific new research paper you want summarized against your personal medical history. It evaluates the new data against your permanent baseline.
I can see how that works for rigid data like medical records.
Right.
But what about something inherently subjective, like creative writing or content strategy? Does the consistency layer suffocate the creativity?
Not at all. Let's do a content strategy use case.
Hmm.
It doesn't suffocate it, it focuses it. The notebook holds your stable brand growth guidelines, your deeper audience psychology research, the hard data from past campaign results.
And the gem acts as a content strategy engine.
Yes. It maintains those strict brand standards. It seamlessly adapts formats from blogs to tweets. And again, it never invents performance data. The dynamic session docs are just your trending daily topics or the specific brief for that week.
Building this is exactly like stacking Lego blocks of data. You painstakingly snap the stable base together once, and then you just swap out the colorful top pieces, the dynamic docs, for different daily tasks.
That's a really great visual. It saves so much cognitive overhead. You fundamentally stop explaining yourself to a machine, and you finally start executing your actual vision.
But looking at all this, it feels like a lot of initial setup. What should the very first step be for a listener who is feeling completely overwhelmed by their open tabs right now?
Don't try to build the whole OS at once. Pick one single, highly repeating task that annoys you. Upload just 2 permanent, stable documents to a brand new notebook. Set up one simple gem with 3 basic rules. Run it once.
Pick one repetitive workflow, build your truth notebook, and never explain it again.
That very first run is absolute magic.
Yeah.
You suddenly realize that AI finally remembers exactly how you think and how you work.
Let's pull back and synthesize the entire blueprint we've just drawn today. We are actively shifting away from casual, stateless AI use.
We're moving to a highly intentional, highly structured system. It changes how you process information entirely. It turns AI from a slot machine into a reliable utility.
NotebookLM is the unchangeable truth. Gems dictate the strict thinking rules, and Gemini is the engine that executes the vision.
And the key takeaway is that separation creates clarity. You deliberately separate the raw data from the behavioral rules. You intentionally separate stable, permanent facts from dynamic, daily updates.
And that precise combination is what creates actual, reliable insight.
Exactly. When you bring them together correctly, it feels like magic. But it isn't magic. It's just exceptionally good, disciplined data architecture.
Go build your very first truth notebook today. Seriously. Start with just 2 permanent documents. Test it yourself. Feel the difference between stateless chatting and a stateful system.
It will completely change your entire perspective on what AI can actually do for you. You will absolutely never go back to stateless chatting again.
I want to leave you with something to ponder as we wrap up. What if the true lasting value of AI in 2026 isn't its ability to endlessly generate brand new things? What if its real superpower is its ability to rigorously enforce your existing high-quality standards against a massive sea of daily noise? Beat. Think about that. Outro music.